In the first part of tutorial 115, I demonstrated how to use an alarm. Now what I'm going to do in this second part of the video is demonstrate how to set an alarm using a timer, which I think might be a little bit more reliable, as I think there probably are still some bugs inherent in the alarm object in TradeStation at the moment. Incidentally, this program and the alarm program before it are going to be available at my website, which is markplex.com, and you can download them for a small fee. If you're a Gold Pass member, you can download them for zero cost. Okay, so let's go and set up an alarm using the timer. So what I've done here is created a program that is applied to the chart, but essentially doesn't have anything in it. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a timer, and I'm using the toolbox to start with by way of a sort of template. So let's go in, and I'm just going to put some sort of dummy figures here so that we don't just get the defaults. Timer, the name's fine. In terms of event, I'm just going to double click here. Okay, so that's good. I'm going to copy this just to tidy up a little bit, and I'm going to go to the designer generated code, which is what's just been created by the toolbox. I'm going to copy that into my program, and having done that, what I can now do is delete the thing that was created by the designer generated code. Now I can also tidy up the program a little bit, get rid of some of the comments. Incidentally, it's probably in practice a good idea to leave the comments and to add additional comments. I've not done that in this development program. I'll probably add a few comments in the programs that are available for download, which will be slightly different. Okay, so we've set up the timer. Now what we want to do is we're going to have an input for the time that we want the alarm to be. I'm going to call that alarm DT. Now this is going to be a string, and we're going to use the format like we had in the previous program. So I'm just going to go and copy that, so the default value can be like so. So that is the time that we want the alarm to go off. So I'm going to make that 35. It's a little bit earlier than that right now. Okay, so when we create the timer, when we initialize that component, we need to set the interval. Now the interval is going to be essentially the difference in time between the target time, which is the alarm time, and the time now expressed in milliseconds. So we can do that, and the way we do that is elsystem.datetime.parse, and then what we're parsing is the target time, the alarm time, which we know is alarm DT, minus elsystem.datetime.now. So both of those are date times. If you subtract one date time from another date time, you get a time span. And one of the properties of the time span is total milliseconds, which will tell us the difference between them in milliseconds. So I'm just going to type in that. Like so. Okay, so that should be the timer interval. Okay, and just to check this thing, we probably want to add a little bit of extra information. So we probably want to know what is the time now. So we can say time now, and we get that from elsystem.timenow.format. And if you remember from the program that we developed in the first video, we can format that using a particular setup of codes. Now if you're unfamiliar with those, if you right click on format here and just go down and click on format codes. You can see all the various options there that you can use. We're using the hour in 12-hour format, minute and second, and then we're also telling ourselves whether it's AM or PM, because we're using the 12-hour clock. So that's the time now. What we also would like to know is what time the alarm is set up for, and we can get that information from here, except we now need to format that in using exactly the same format as before. And it's probably also a good idea to know how many milliseconds, so let's just have a look at that. So milliseconds, and we know that the interval is this thing here, so we can just copy that. Okay, so that is the setup, and then when the actual alarm goes off, we want to print some information about it. So we could do that here. So we could say timer alarm occurred. Again, the program's slightly different, but essentially it does the same thing. And we want to do EL system now, which tells us what the time is now. So we can just do that. We could also do a plot like so. Let me just see if I've forgotten anything. Okay, so it verifies. Let's go back to the chart and let's just make sure that we've got it switched on. So we want this one here, timer dev. I'll switch that to on. I'm going to switch the other one to off, and we've got it set to 3:35. I'm just going to change that to 3:30 and 45 seconds. That's today's date. So we're just going to wait now and see what happens. Okay, so you can see the time now, 3:29:13, alarm time 3:30:45, and it's calculated the number of milliseconds as 92,000. So what I might do is just stop the video and restart it again when the alarm goes off, or just before the alarm goes off. Okay, so you can see there the alarm fired at 3:30:45. It's also drawn the magenta plot on the chart. So that's doing what we set out to do. We could tidy up the program a little bit. We could include the namespace. So date time is in the EL system namespace, and we could do that by going using EL system like so. And having done that, we can then go through and remove EL system from all the various places that it's included at the moment, which just makes it a little bit easier to read, and so on. I think you probably get the idea. Let's just verify that to make sure that's still okay. Incidentally, having done that, you can now, with the timer, you can change the interval. If this was set to timer 1.auto reset and set to true, and then if we were to, at the point where the timer occurred, we could then at that point tell it what the new interval was. So we could go timer 1.interval, and then we could set a new interval. So for example, we could set that for 60 seconds times 1000 milliseconds, and let's just do that just for completeness. So I'm just going to go into chart. I'm going to change. I'm just going to clear this. I'm going to change the time of the. So it's now 3:33. Perhaps make that 3:34. So time now 3:33:46. Time of the alarm 3:30. 3:34:45, calculates 59,000 milliseconds. Okay, the timer alarm fires at 3:34:45 as we expected. And now if we wait, what we should see is that another alarm will occur in 60 seconds and so on, because we reset the interval, and so we should see the timer keep on occurring every 60 seconds because we had the auto reset. So what I might do is just stop the video and then just cut to the new timer alarm. Okay, so then you can see the first one at 3:35:45, and if we just leave this running, we should see several of those appearing. Okay, so you can see that I've left this program running for a few minutes, and it has occurred every minute after we first set it up because of the new interval that we created after the timer alarm first went off. Anyway, as I mentioned, this program is available for download for a small fee, except if you're a Gold Pass member, when you can download it at no cost. If you want to do so, then please go to markplex.com. That's markplex.com. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.